Michelle here, and in this video I am going to be drawing something that I'm very excited about that some of you have probably seen a portion of already, and that is my original characters from a franchise that I call Mammal Camp. The reason why I did this when I said franchise is because it's not actually a franchise. My goal is for this to one day become a full-fledged animated series, a cartoon show on TV or on Netflix or wherever cartoon shows go in the future. And this has been my biggest dream since 2007. When I was 13 years old, I created these characters and I've been building them up since then to one day become a cartoon show. Now you may have noticed that I've been gone a few weeks. You're probably wondering where the heck I've been. Things were a little complicated near the tail end of the last video that I put out. Around that time things were getting a little dramatic, so I wasn't able to put videos out, and then at the end of that I decided that maybe it'd be best just to take a week off anyway, so there was that additional time. And then on the tail end of that break I actually got sick, which was an additional week, so yeah. But while I was gone, I actually kind of discovered myself again. Who I used to be, who I feel that I actually am. I sort of had a tiny identity crisis, which is why my hair is now back to its original brown, or as close to the original color as it could be. I just didn't feel like myself anymore, especially when I looked in the mirror. I didn't see those parts of me that I admired. I saw this character that I was trying to be for YouTube. I dyed my hair and then I went back and I was thinking about that live stream where I did portions of this piece that you're about to see, and people were very responsive. I was very afraid, actually, for a long time to put my original characters on this channel, because on my old YouTube channel when I did that, they didn't get a lot of views. They didn't get a lot of positive feedback. People didn't really care because they didn't know who they were. But when I did this live stream and I talked about these characters in preparation for this video, people were actually asking questions. They were actually very interested, and it was only a few people. I don't have a large fan base or a large number of subscribers, so the fraction of people that were actually on the live stream is even smaller than that. But even with that small number of people that were watching that live stream, they were genuinely interested in seeing this become a cartoon show, and that turned things around for me. That inspired me to continue to work on this. I sort of mentally gave up and thought it's not going to happen for at least another 10 years or something. I haven't gone to college for it. There's no way that it's going to happen, so I might as well focus on something else, which was mainly YouTube. But now that I know people are really interested in this, it's motivated me to focus on it again. And since I started working on this, just writing more stories, going over the characters, and just building the world and the entire franchise as it is in depth, thinking about maybe making a mobile game, just animating the actual pilot of this show to maybe pitch it to people out there to help me make maybe shorts for it. And since I started doing these things, since I started really focusing on Mammal Camp as my goal in life like it used to be, I have felt so much better. I feel so happy. I have this tingliness around my body. It's so weird. It's like, is this happiness? Is this a mixture of anxiety? Honestly, I can't tell you what true, pure happiness feels like. It's weird. All I know is that I'm happy, and I really feel like this can go places, and I'm very excited to bring this to you. And I know I'm rambling along. You're probably really curious as to what this is if you haven't seen the live stream, so I'm going to let that play as I continue to talk about it. So the first thing you're going to notice here is that I already have a base sketch, because it's been so long that I've drawn these characters, maybe over a year, that I wasn't sure about the proportions, so you'll see even sketching this, I'm going to shrink their heads probably to make them fit. What you're seeing right now are the 4 main characters of Mammal Camp: Twitchy Squirrel, Rocky Raccoon, Hammy Hamster, and Bunny Rabbit. That is from left to right as you're seeing them on the page. The idea is that these 4 mammals are at a summer camp, hence the name Mammal Camp. But the name of the camp is Camp Happy, the largest summer mammal camp in the world. Camp Happy, where mammal campers Camp Abbey. Though there isn't actual cabins or anything in this, I've never drawn them in a camp scene, just a normal camp scene with a campfire, and I decided to do that because I've never done that before. I've normally just drawn them in forests or in like their bunks or something. So I'm like, hey, I can do a fire, so I did a fire, and I'm actually pretty proud of the way the fire looks. It's pretty good, I think, for a fire. For my first official fire. It's pretty good, it looks like a fire. So mammals in a summer camp, there's a lot of shows about animals in summer camp. There's Camp Laszlo, coming on Cartoon Network soon is Summer Camp Island, which is very different. Both of those things are extremely different, and I don't know how to express that because I have not shown any of this. There's no way to show any of the animated stuff. So what I do in the meantime, until I am able to get a team and animate at least the pilot to show people what this has the potential to be, in the meantime, I work on the characters and their backgrounds and the character designs, designing more characters, background characters, designing the environment, world building, just understanding their places that they're in and places that they could be in, what the trees look like, what the animals look like. And then there's the story, the overall plot of the entire story, the overall plot of individual episodes, which is very hard for me. I don't know how to write individual episodes and still make it work with the overall gigantic plot. So obviously I'm not, like, I couldn't be the singular writer for this. I would obviously have to get other people to say, like, what if they do this and it does this thing? And I'm like, that fits into the thing, or it doesn't fit into the thing, and we can, work on it with a team, with people. I also have a really hard time animating by myself because it takes so long. There's no way that I could do an entire 22-minute pilot by myself. Maybe I could do the storyboard, but even that is tedious enough for me that I don't think I'd be able to. I'm more of a still picture kind of person when it comes to what I contribute to things. I like character design and just creating a setting, a scene, a single picture, and telling other people, hey, can you make this move? That'd be great. But I can animate. If there is a team, I will be one of the animators, I'll be a storyboarder. I have to learn how to do these things as well. I've never gone to college, I don't know. But if there were other people out there that knew how to do these things, that would be so amazing. If we could get together, I could learn from them, I could ask questions, maybe we could start creating things together, slowly work to building a few people, maybe just a handful of people, to at least get this pilot out there that I could pitch to networks and just things in general, just so, or even just so you guys can see what this is. Basically, the plot is that these 4 characters meet at Camp Happy, and they discover that the surrounding forest that surrounds this summer camp is not only off limits, but no one in the camp talks about it. In fact, if you ask the staff, they refuse to talk about it. They avoid talking about it. So these 4 characters, mainly Rocky, he's the raccoon in purple, he has a way of getting the others into trouble. What you're hearing right now, if you can hear this, is the dog sniffing the wall. You don't know why? Okay. You do that, man. Okay. The forest is a giant mystery to them. But Rocky, the one in purple, the raccoon there, he's the one that gets them into trouble a lot. It's his idea to sneak into the forest and see what all the fuss is about. So they follow him, some of them unwillingly, like Hammy, he kind of just follows them because he wants to keep them out of trouble, so he wants to be there to oversee things. So they all 4 end up in that forest. They discover new things and mysterious things and objects that shouldn't be there if the forest is off limits. Why there are things out there, why it looks like people have been there, and how old are these things? Were there people that used to be there? Was this a place that the campers used to go to and hang out? And if so, why are they not able to do that anymore? What happened to make this forest deemed so unsafe to be forbidden from the campers and staff? These 4 not only are trying to figure that out, but are just having fun at the same time because they're kids. They'll go into this forest, find a giant mushroom, jump on it like it's a trampoline, and that's fun for them until they realize that it's not just a giant mushroom. No, this is not a Gravity Falls themed thing. No, this has no ghosts or monsters or anything like that. It's the conspiracies and the mysteries that are going on within the camp that affect what used to be in that forest, what used to be going on there. Something that the staff knows, that the staff have been around long enough to remember that they avoid talking about. I have a lot of ideas that do involve the staff, some of the camp counselors, some of the other staff members that were around at a certain time may know some things. So we'll see. Aside from that, there are tons of camp activities and just plots that revolve around friendship and relationships with their family and each other. And the point of this is to show people the reality of relationships and the negative sides of it, but how to resolve things and come together and love each other and get over pretty much anything that could come their way. They'll survive it. Or will they? Can their friendships survive all of this mischief and mystery? That's supposed to be the hook, by the way. All these mysteries and blah blah blah. Why is this thing happening? Why don't the staff talk about it? Why is it forbidden? But can their friendships survive it? Bum bum bum. We don't know. I mean, probably, but wait, no, I shouldn't say these things that early. We don't know. So, interestingly enough, as most stereotypes have, each of these characters have a very, very distinct personality for each of them individually. Hammy is the third one from the left, the one sitting next to the rabbit. He is the leader. He is very intelligent. He's very polite. He always does what he believes is good, and he has a very hard time doing things that are breaking rules or off limits. Which is why most of the time he's influenced by the other characters, even though most of the time he's very aware. He's not like convinced that, oh, this is a good idea. He's like, this is a very bad idea, therefore I should be there to fix it when it goes bad. That's his whole idea about life, and he likes to take care of the other campers, the other characters in the show, especially Twitchy the squirrel. He's kind of like Hammy's younger brother in a way. Hammy's always wanted a younger sibling, but their family is not capable of that, and so he kind of projects that onto Twitchy, being the most sensitive of the four characters. He needs to be taken care of a lot, and so Hammy just takes on that role as that leader, as that older brother, and it's very, very charming. I love their relationship. Twitchy, like I said, is the most sensitive, but he has the widest range of emotions. He could be so excited and just a spaz and all over the place like a squirrel, but then the very next minute somebody could say something and he could be bawling his eyes out. Very dramatic, very over the top. He's gonna be the comic relief for basically everything. He loves sports, he loves being a goof, he loves being random, and he gets on Rocky's nerves quite a lot. Rocky being the raccoon in the purple there sitting next to Twitchy. He's the one who is the most rebellious. He's the stubborn one, the one that doesn't care. He always wants to do what he wants to do because what he wants to do is the most interesting. And if somebody else doesn't like that, well, he's going to figure out a way to do it anyway and probably drag his friends into it too. Even though he doesn't like to admit that they're his friends, they are. And he likes it that way, but don't tell them. He's almost like a bully. He can be his own antagonist sometimes, but he's still their friend. He doesn't... He sides with them and will protect them at all costs, but does not like to be nice to them, if that makes sense. It's kind of like Helga Pataki in a way. He's there, he's in their group, but he's just like, I won't admit that I'm okay with this. I won't admit that I want friends, you know, but he's there. And then there's Bunny, the one that is the pink rabbit over there. Obviously his name is Bunny. He is mute, he never speaks, and he is constantly smiling that big toothy smile. It is a mystery to everybody why he is constantly smiling and why he is mute, what led him to be that way. Is it something traumatic from his past? They hardly know anything about his past because he doesn't talk. The parents are seemingly not around, even though they are there because they're the ones that sent him to the camp. They just don't talk, they don't interact with the camp, they're not in the picture as far as the story goes. So Bunny's just a giant ball of mystery in of himself. But even then, he's super, super positive. He's the one who will constantly find ways to make you happy, to cheer you up if you're feeling down. He's very creative, very artistic. As you can see from his color palette, he loves color. He can't choose between just one color palette. He's gotta have practically all of them. He loves comedy, he loves music, he loves art, he loves painting more than all of that. And he finds a way to see the beauty in absolutely everything and everyone. So even people like Rocky, who might seem to be a bully to a lot of people, Bunny sees as a very, very protective, good person. Even though he doesn't talk to tell him that, he tries to show it in how he interacts with everybody else. He's very much a loner though. He often is the one in the background doing something like really random and interacting with the environment and like plants or something, while the other three are talking and discussing and like driving the plot forward. Bunny's the one who you just look at and he's supposed to be the one that just makes you feel happy when you see him. That is his thing. That's his thing, is happiness. So with the four of them together, things can get pretty weird, with Twitchy being a spaz and annoying Rocky into doing something, and Rocky wants to do something, he does it, and then Tammy has to be there to make sure that they get out of trouble, and then Bunny's just there because he wants to have fun and he loves his friends. They are very much a really interesting group of people, all very, very different from one another, which is what makes them so interesting when they are together. They play off of each other very well, especially those three that I mentioned. That's why their personalities are the way they are, and why it was difficult to make Bunny fit into that, which is why I think it fits very well to make him that mysterious one that's just tagged onto the side. Though he is just as important as the other three when it comes to the plot, he's not the one that necessarily is part of the conflict that moves it forward. There are other characters like the forest ranger and camp security. He doubles as both, as far as I know. Researching the job in real life might change that, but we'll see. Then there's the camp counselors that try and keep them out of trouble, lead them through their daily camp activities, and the way that they all interact with each other is supposed to be something that is very family oriented. As far as the feel of the show, I feel like it would be quite an extensive mix between something like Dragon Tales, Phineas and Ferb. Hey Arnold is another one where you watch it and you feel good the entire time. But exciting and colorful like Phineas and Ferb, a lot of recurring plot points, and yet so magical like Dragon Tales, where you go into this forest and you don't know what's going to happen when you go into that forest each episode. Of course, it's not 100% a mixture of all three of those, it has its own elements, but as far as the feeling of the show, that is the closest that I could come up with for you guys. So this is the four of them sitting around a campfire. This is the end product here. It was really difficult for me to get the lighting on their faces. As you can see, Twitchy and Rocky have like this shadow over between their eyes, and Bunny and Hammy do not. And for some reason, because they were at a different angle, I decided that it wouldn't really match, but technically I feel like because they're all in front of the fire, they should all have similar shadows on their faces. Like I said, lighting is a difficult thing. I don't know, first time I've ever done a fire, so. I'm actually hoping to create 3D models of these guys and, you know, be able to shine light on them to see where the shadows would be cast so I could do these things more accurately. I hope you enjoyed watching me create this piece. I hope you enjoyed just hearing about what this show could possibly be. I know it's going to be a very long time until it is made, but because a few of you seemed so interested in hearing about it and adding to it and getting me some people that could maybe help me make the pilot, I decided that I'm gonna put more content out of this show for you guys so that you can get more familiarized with it, you can get more excited about it, and hopefully if things happen the way that I want them to, in the time frame that I want them to, you'll be seeing a lot more of them, probably, hopefully, animated, not completely 100% professionally, but you know, I'll be working on some things to the best of my ability while I am by myself. And hopefully one day in the future we will see these guys on TV. If you guys are interested, at this very moment I have another video talking about the full history of Mammal Camp, when it was created, why it was created, the process of building these characters, more of their backstory, more of the plot points, more of the environment, and just all around answering most of the questions that you guys might be wondering about this thing. So if you like this video, make sure to check that one out. It is in the description and is obviously uploaded at the same time, so go ahead and check that out if you're interested. And if you know anybody, animators, artists, writers, voice actors, anybody that could possibly help contribute to animating a pilot or working on this in general, let me know. Send them to my email at mosthighmammal@gmail.com. That is mosthighmammal@gmail.com. It'll also be in the description. Also, if anybody has been to a summer camp and wants to share their experience with me for research purposes, you can also email me at mosthighmammal@gmail.com. That would be extremely helpful. But if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know you did. And if you're wondering what I'm doing in between videos, you can follow me on Twitter. That is where I'm the most active, but I have a list of other social media down in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!